I don't think I'm going to need this thing, but I'll hold it anyhow. I got these glasses. I was at an FBO one time, and if someone had these glasses, I like to go into a restaurant and I'll order, and there's a relatively cute waitress comes up. I go, my eyes light up for you. So when you get to my age, you got to have those tools like this to carry on. And I want to thank everyone for having me here today. Thanks to all the alumni sponsorships, foundation members, and so forth. Dr. Thornburg, nice meeting you and your wife. Appreciate it. Marilyn, Yvonne, Sally. A little side note here is that Dickie, he was bothering me about, hey, I need a photograph of you, and Yvonne, Sally, and everybody else. Yeah, we need a 8x10 professional photo of you. I go, well, I might be the distinguished alumni. I'm not the sophisticated alumni. We don't have any of those photos. And so the photo that's on that program they took off of Facebook. So you're way more sophisticated than I am. So anyways, the only thing I told Dickie, I said, I don't take pictures of me other than me holding the fish and pulling the beer. I'm not for sure that'd be appropriate. So here we are. Let's get started here. I'm honored to be here for a number of reasons, and I'm going to talk about some of those here in just a minute. However, first I'd like to say that one of the reasons I'm here is because of Coach Dick Foster, and some of you may know that Coach Foster's in the hospital today, without Coach Foster, I wouldn't be here, so I'd appreciate all of your warm felt prayers on his behalf for his health as he struggles to get better. And I told him, hey, let the rest of us carry the ball on this one. I got it. And so like I said again, when you hit your knees tonight, if you could say a good prayer for Coach, I'd really appreciate it. I know he would too. When I was 17 years old, I wasn't for sure where I wanted to go to school. I played 8-man football, basketball, track, as Marilyn mentioned. I don't know that I was highly recruited. As you get older, of course, the stories get embellished. Oh, everybody wanted me. Well, that's not the truth, okay? Nobody wanted me. So I had some junior colleges that were looking at me, NIA school and everything. And a funny story here that happened is that, and this is absolutely the truth, I was debating on where I was going to go on, and I wanted to play both basketball and football. And the only place that would let me do that was Fort Scott. And so I hadn't heard back from anybody, and so I signed a letter of intent with Fort Scott. And I think everybody in this room knows how much we hate Fort Scott. So I've signed this letter of intent, and it's Good Friday, and I'm in the gym at Hamilton High, and I'm talking to my coach, and we're talking, and all of a sudden there's a phone call. The coach comes back and he goes, hey, Dick Foster's on the phone, wants to talk to you. Well, okay, well, what? I mean, I already signed, I'm going Fort Scott. And he goes, well, yeah, I'll talk to him. So I go in and I start talking to Coach Foster, and I said, hey, Coach, I've already signed with Fort Scott. They're going to let me play both basketball and football. And Coach goes, well, darn it, Jimmy Morris, he called me Jimmy Morris for a long time, and he goes, darn it, he goes, we sure would like to have you. Coach Gene Duke and I, if you remember Gene Duke, he's a basketball coach, he goes, we've talked about it, and we'll let you play both sports. And I said, well, I've signed this letter of intent to go to Fort Scott. He goes, well, Jimmy, it's a small town. I mean, Virgil, Kansas only had, 70 people in it. He goes, don't you know the postmaster? I go, well, I do, Sally Smith. I know the postmaster. He goes, why don't you go talk to Sally, see if she'll grab that out of the mailbag? As you know, Dick, he didn't take no for an answer, okay? And he would not be deterred. He said, why don't you go see, Sally Smith, get that letter back, and you tear that sumbug up and you sign with me. I'll be down there Monday to sign you. Well, duh, what happened? That's the end of that story. I went and got that letter out of the mailbag. We tore it up, and I signed a letter of intent to come to Coffeyville, and that's how I got here. And that's, Dick, it's a funny story. I don't mean to be too hard on my Oklahoma brethren here, but I opened up the doors to the Cats last weekend against Oklahoma, and boy, howdy, hey, here we go. Sorry, guys. And also, welcome to all new Hall of Fame members. Congratulations to all of you. Very, very, very good honor. Thank you very much on that, too, very, very much. So, that's how I got here. You know, and so, and by the way, Dickie said, hey, Jim, you've only got about 10 minutes. I go, Dickie, I don't do 10-minute speeches at any time in my life. Okay? I was student body president. We've got some of my classmates from when I was student body president. I ran on a slogan, don't be a slob, vote Jim Bob, and won. Okay? So I was real blessed the time I was here and so forth. But anyhow, thank the Lord for Coach Dick Foster and for getting me here, and I really appreciate that. But my story, you know, it didn't end there for me. I came here, Red Raven. I played football. I played basketball. I ran track. Got honors. We had great talent. I was awarded the President's Trophy from Dr. Russell Graham, and that was a big honor. And then I moved on to Kansas State, Beryl mentioned. Coffeyville was my springboard. Not everybody knows about my background, and I'm going to talk a little bit about that because I believe it's important. I was grateful for the opportunity to have any kind of scholarship coming from Virgil, Kansas. You know, I got to take you back through some of the gravel roads that I traveled on. Virgil, Kansas is a small little town, and it's 15 miles in any direction on a gravel road, and those are thin, curvy gravel roads, and I had to drive over to Hamilton every day. I didn't walk, drove one of my fast cars and so forth, but my life story to get here, I was on welfare when I was a little kid, and not everybody knows that story today. You know, today we fly around all over the country in private jets, and everybody doesn't realize that, you know, how beginnings start. And my beginning, you know, like I said, I give a lot of credit to Coffeyville. My parents got divorced when I was 9. My dad was raised on the Talapoint Reservation, just about 100 miles from here, to the south. And he was what I call a bad alcoholic. And once they got divorced, he abandoned us, and so we were living in Virgil, Kansas, and there's not a lot of enterprise there, and so I didn't know I was on welfare. Okay, I mean, I'm a little kid. I got a bike. I got a dog. Hell, I'm happy. Okay, I'm on welfare. And so until I go up to the store, now keep in mind this is, I think, a funny story. I'm 9. Okay. My mom sends me up to the grocery store to go get a list of groceries. Now, how many parents in here would allow your 9-year-old kid to go to the grocery store today? Well, without getting some visit from the police or something. But so anyhow, I go up there, and I didn't know I was on welfare, and I give Mr. Customs the little note, and I said, we need some mayonnaise and some eggs, and you know, and here's the money. Well, I didn't know that they were welfare stamps until Jerry Hoggett, like picture the little kid, like 11 or 12 in a black leather jacket smoking a cigarette. That's how I look at it, okay? But of course that's not the way it was, but Jerry Hoggett starts going, Morris is on welfare. He starts singing this song, and there's these other 2 kids, the Titus boys, they're ruffians too. And I'm not on welfare. And Mr. Cussman goes, he puts on his bifocals, and I knew I was on welfare when he goes, Jerry! Then I knew I was on welfare. So ran home. I was embarrassed. I bust into the back door. I go, Mama, we're on welfare. And I was crying. She starts crying. So I just wanted to bring that up in regards to how you get to a place sometimes and how your beginnings, and some people, if you don't go and drill back and drill down to really understand somebody. And so I've suffered a lot of various tragedies in my life, and we got through them, and we persevered, and quite frankly, my roads to getting here were complicated. You know, my mother dies a few years after this story of the welfare. As she was trying to better herself, she gets killed in a car accident. Little brother, same type of deal, gets killed in a car accident. Me and my sister were orphaned off to family members, and we get dumped off on my aunt and uncle, who are 65 years of age. And they lived in a little shanty house, a little 2-bedroom shanty house. We did not have running water, okay? We had an outhouse. And people don't believe this. They look at me today and they go, that's BS. I go, no, it's not BS. I know all about an outhouse, okay? And so it's funny, we're sitting there and we got these 3 little kids. It's me, my sister, little brother, and you know, by this time, heck, I'm probably 12. And my Uncle Bud, he's a pretty big old boy. He's sitting there at the breakfast table, which was about the size of this desk. He goes, well, I got us a new house. I go, a new house? Because this house we were in was downtrodden. I mean, we had engine blocks on the front porch, a couple saddles, some coon dogs. I mean, if the term redneck describes anything, that's who we were. So I got a real appreciation for that word. And so he goes, I got us a new house. I go, a new house? When can we see it? He goes, they're driving it down tomorrow. Now you're 12, okay? And so I'm trying to think of the literal sense of driving a house down to Hamilton, Kansas. I can't envision it. Well, the next morning, when they come in with that 14 by 70 trailer home, I get it, okay? So every time I go and talk to a luncheon, I said, let me just tell you, all right? There's rednecks and you guys talk about trailers and all that. I said, I'm all of us, so let's just be careful with your words, okay? So anyhow, we got in that trailer house and my God, like, boy, what a change our life was, because running water, that was something. But anyhow, like I said, there's a lot of bends in the story on how you get here. So, you know, after we get here, and we've made it, I guess, you know, we got 20 some companies. I got 500 some odd employees. We got businesses and farms. We manage 10,000 acres of farmland in Kansas and Illinois. We've got packaging companies. We work with some of the largest corporations in the world: Costco, Amazon, Target, Sam's, Cargill, Tyson. Largest ingredients operation in our sector. I'm a minority, as I mentioned. My dad was a Native American Indian, and so I have my Dawes and my blood card, and so we're listed under the MBE Enterprises, and so pretty proud of that fact of being a minority, and we developed the Morse Family Minority Diversity Cultural Center at Kansas State. So after some of your stints here, some of you may go up to Kansas State and hopefully you can enjoy that facility. We're developing the Morse Family Olympic Training Facility. Only reason we're developing that because I just want people to think maybe I was an Olympian. But there's more of that. But last part of my story is, you know, after you work hard and you do the things that you're supposed to do, and like when I talk about what Coffeyville did for me, is that I get here and let me tell you something. It was tough. Dick Foster was tough. Gene Duke was tough. The educational element here was challenging, especially for me. I can't claim to be a great student because I wasn't. But what Coffeyville taught me was to get ready to go out and compete in the world, which I'm not for sure I'm seeing today in a lot of veins. And I'll just tell you, we didn't have participation trophies. All right. When I was growing up, you had to win. I remember being a little kid and all the kids were older than me and I was always picked last. And I realized I was picked last for a reason because I wasn't very good. And you had to get good. And so I'm just telling you, the world's about competing. and the world's about winning, and if anybody tells you any different, I beg to disagree, okay? That's my position, and I'm gonna stand by that one. So, here we are, we've made it, we've learned how to compete, and I'm gonna go buy a boat. Now, as I mentioned, not a very good student, I wasn't a very good student, but I certainly learned a lot of things. So I'm down in Miami at the boat show, and I usually dress in cowboy boots and blue jeans, and I'll walk into this boat show in Miami, and this old boy, he comes down from the bridge, and I can tell immediately he's a boat snob. And I'm here with cowboy boots on his boat. He comes, "Can I help you?" And I go, "Yeah, I'm looking for a boat." He goes, "Really?" And I go, "Yeah." I go, look around, I go, "You got anything bigger than this?" He goes, "Bigger than this boat?" I go, "Yes, sir." Well, his boss hears this up on the bridge. He comes down and goes, "Oh, do tell, friend." I can tell he's less of a boat snob and, a better old boy than this first guy. He goes, "So you need a big boat, is that right, sir?" I go, "Yeah." He goes, "What's your name?" I go, "Jim Bob Morris." He goes, "Well, why do you need a bigger boat than this boat?" This boat was pretty good size. I go, "Because I'm going to name it C- student, and I don't want anybody walking past it and going, 'Yeah, I get it.'" So, with that said, we're going to sail off, and I'm going to say, always a Red Raven. Go Red Ravens. Thank you.